Narrated by Anuja Kumar.
Counting continues in the U.S. presidential elections with balance hinged on key battleground states. Biden's projected wins in Wisconsin and Michigan push his chances for the top job. Incumbent Trump attacks the vote counting process, pursues lawsuit. United Nations adopts India's annual counter-terrorism resolution, co-sponsored by over 75 countries. The resolution was adopted by consensus in the UNGA. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair the Virtual Global Investor Roundtable. Top pension and sovereign wealth funds to participate. Meet to deliberate on accelerating international investments in India. Union Home Minister Amit Shah reaches West Bengal on a two-day visit, scheduled to do a Karyakarta Samvad with BJP cadres. Home Minister will also meet representatives of different communities in a Samajik Samuh Samvad. It's the last day of campaigning in Bihar Assembly polls today. Before the third and final phase of elections for 78 seats on Saturday, the results will be declared on Tuesday. Notification for first district level development council elections in Jammu and Kashmir to be issued today. Polling to be held in 280 constituencies in 8 phases from November 28th. Refugees from Pakistan to exercise franchise for the first time in 70 years. Army Chief General Narvane on a visit to Nepal will meet Nepal's President and Prime Minister. Army Chief to be awarded the honorary rank of General of the Nepal Army. And TV anchor Arnab Goswami sent to 2 weeks judicial custody by Alibag Court. His bail plea to be heard by Bombay High Court today. He was arrested by Maharashtra police yesterday amidst condemnation from all quarters. Good morning, you're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. In the next half an hour, we'll get out of everything that's been making it to the headlines. First, we get you updates on the US presidential polls. In the close race for the U.S. presidency, Democrat Joe Biden has now established convincing lead over incumbent president and Republican Donald Trump. The long, winding and slow counting process was earlier showing close contest between the two rivals till late last night, but after Biden won the battleground states of Michigan and Wisconsin, his lead substantially increased. Now, these two states had voted for Trump last time. With these two states and the battleground state of Arizona going in Biden's favor, the balance has tilted significantly towards him. Projections now say that Biden is only 27 electoral college votes behind the magic figure of 270, that is 243, while Trump is still languishing at 214. Meanwhile, incumbent Donald Trump attacked the vote counting process. Trump's campaign has announced a lawsuit to try and suspend the vote counting in Michigan, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, citing irregularities. However, the mail-in ballots could take days or weeks to be counted in some states, meaning a final winner might not be declared today unless a candidate bags a landslide victory. American presidential elections are decided not by the popular vote but by securing a majority in the state-by-state electoral college, which has 538 members. The U.S. Elections Project estimated total turnout at a record 160 million voters, including more than 101.1 million early voters, 65.2 million of whom voted by mail. Permanent representative to the United Nations, T.S. Tirumurthy on Wednesday announced that India's annual resolution on issue of counter-terrorism was co-sponsored by over 75 countries and adopted by consensus in the first committee of the UN General Assembly. In a tweet, Tirumurthy said that India is at the forefront of counter-terrorism. He said that he was delighted that the annual resolution tabled by India on measures to prevent terrorists from acquiring weapons of mass destruction was co-sponsored by more than 75 countries and adopted by consensus in the first committee of the UN General Assembly. India, a victim of state-sponsored cross-border terrorism, has been at the forefront in highlighting the serious threat to international peace and security emanating from acquisition of weapons of mass destruction by terrorist groups. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today chair the Virtual Global Investor Roundtable, that is the VGIR. Now, the roundtable is being organized by Ministry of Finance, Government of India and National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. It is an exclusive dialogue between leading global institutional investors, Indian business leaders and the highest decision makers from the Government of India and the financial market regulators. The event is aimed at providing an opportunity to deliberate on further accelerating growth of international investments in India. Union Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah has reached Kolkata on Wednesday night on a two-day visit to the state. On the first day of his visit, Shah will visit Bankura to meet party workers. The party workers from two zones, Rar and Hooghly Midnapur, covering over 70 assembly seats from southern region of West Bengal, will attend the meeting. The Home Minister will also meet representatives of different communities in a Samajik Samuh Samvad. Amit Shah on Thursday will hold a number of meetings in the state capital with party workers in Kolkata, office bearers from more than 80 assembly constituencies from Nabadweep in south-central Bengal and Kolkata region. And up next, we get you an update from the poll-bound state of Bihar. In Bihar, campaigning for the third and final phase of elections will come to an end this evening. In this phase, 78 constituencies spread over 15 districts will go to polls on 7th of November. Polling for by-election to Valmiki Nagar parliamentary seat will also be held in this phase. Senior leaders and star campaigners of all parties held multiple rallies in poll-bound Mithilanchal, Seemanchal, Tirhut and Kosi areas of the state. Now, with the third phase of voting, the polling process in poll-bound Bihar will be completed. Counting will be held on 10th of November and results will be declared the same day. In Jammu and Kashmir, dates for first ever District Development Council elections in the Union Territory have been announced. Polling will be held in 280 constituencies in 8 phases from November 28th. Refugees from Pakistan will be able to exercise their franchise for the first time in 70 years. Elections for the vacant seats of Sarpanches and Panches and urban local bodies will also be held simultaneously with these polls. State Election Commissioner has said that polling will take place through electronic voting machines, while postal ballots will be available for COVID-19 patients in isolation, senior citizens and physically unwell patients. With the announcement of the DDC polls, Model Code of Conduct has come into effect. The first formal notification for the first phase of elections will be issued today. The term of the DDC will be for 5 years.
कुछ ऐसे लोग जिनका किसी कारण से अगर इलेक्टोरल वोट नहीं बना था, स्टेट में नहीं बना था, उनकी एलिजिबिलिटी अब जो हो गई है नहीं, तो वो भी वोट कर पाएंगे. तो उसमें ज़्यादा तो एक यही ग्रुप है जो आपने बताया. और अदरवाइज इट हैज़ टू बी ऑर्डिनरी रेजिडेंट citizen of India, ordinarily residing here, as in the People Representation Act.
The State Election Commissioner also said that the election process will be held under tight security arrangements.
जम्मू कश्मीर की इलेक्शन के लिए सिक्योरिटी अरेंजमेंट्स एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ है. एंड पिछले 10-15 दिन में इसमें काफ़ी चर्चा हुई है. जो कंसर्न लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मशीनरी के सीनियर अफसर हैं, इसलिए सरकार ने ये 2 कमेटियां बनाई और कमेटी वाज हेडेड बाय द होम सेक्रेटरी. And the Home Secretary's Committee with concerned officers, the inputs from IGP Jammu, IGP Kashmir, has gone into these things. And we will be making adequate arrangements.
The Election Commission of India is organizing a 3-day International Virtual Election Visitors Program 2020 for foreign election management bodies and organizations starting from today in context of the ongoing Bihar Legislative Assembly elections. The keynote address at the inaugural session will be delivered by Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora. In the past, the Commission had organized international election visitor programs for foreign EMBs and organizations in 214 Lok Sabha elections, elections for a few state assemblies in February and March 2017, and Lok Sabha elections in May 2019. Delegates from over 40 countries across the world, including Afghanistan, Australia, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malawi, Maldives, Moldova, Mongolia, Mauritius, Nepal, Philippines, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Ukraine, Uzbekistan and Zambia, etc. and also 3 international organizations, vis-a-vis International IDEA, International Foundation of Electoral Systems, that is IFES, and Association of World Election Bodies have been invited to participate in the process 2020. Army Chief General M.M. Narvane, who is on a 3-day visit to Nepal, will be conferred with the honorary rank of General of Nepal Army today. The honorary rank of General of the Nepal Army will be conferred to General Narvane by Nepal President Bidya Devi Bhandari during a function in the President's office. The Army Chief will also meet Nepal Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli and his Nepalese counterpart Purna Chandra Thapa during the visit. Now, apart from this, General Narvane will distribute medical equipments and ventilators to 2 field hospitals of the Nepalese Army for dealing with COVID-19 pandemic. And bail plea of Arnab Goswami, editor-in-chief of Republic TV, will be heard by Bombay High Court today. Arnab has been sent to judicial custody till 18th of November by Alibag Court on Wednesday. On a 2-year-old case on the charges of abetment of suicide, Maharashtra police arrested Republic TV editor-in-chief Arnab Goswami and 2 others on early Wednesday morning. Raigad police had arrested Arnab under Section 305 of the IPC. The case pertains to suicide of a 53-year-old interior designer and his mother in 2018. In Gujarat, 12 persons, including 5 women, were killed and 14 others were injured during a fire and building collapse incident on Pirana Pipluj Road near Ahmedabad on Wednesday. The incident occurred after fire and blast occurred in a chemical factory, Sahil Enterprise. Several nearby godowns of cutting and packaging materials of textiles collapsed following the fire and blast. The state government has ordered an inquiry into this fire incident. Meanwhile, the police and forensic science teams have also rushed to the spot and have started investigation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed his anguish over the loss of lives due to this fire incident. He expressed condolences to the bereaved families. The Prime Minister said that authorities are providing all possible assistance to the affected. Meanwhile, Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani also expressed grief over deaths of the labourers in the fire and blast incident. The state government has announced financial assistance of 4 lakh rupees for the families of the deceased. Procurement of paddy in the current Kharif marketing season has shown an increase of 20.18% over last year. Agriculture Ministry said that the government has purchased over 224 lakh tons of paddy against last year's corresponding purchase of around 186 lakh tons. About 18 lakh 91,000 farmers have benefited from the ongoing procurement operations, with MSP valued over rupees 42,422 crore. Paddy procurement is progressing at a good pace in the procuring states and union territories of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Tamil Nadu, Chandigarh, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh. The ministry said out of the total purchase of paddy, Punjab alone has contributed over 158 lakh tons, which is 70.52% of the total procurement. The ministry said, based on the proposal from the states, approval was accorded to Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana, Gujarat, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh for procurement of over 45 lakh tons of pulses and oilseeds of Kharif marketing season 2020 under price support scheme. CBI has detained former Karnataka Minister and Congress leader Vinay Kulkarni in connection with the 2016 murder of BJP Zilla Panchayat member Yogesh Gowda. The agency is interrogating former Congress leader at Dharwad Town Police Station in Karnataka. Delhi's air quality continues to remain at alarming levels, the latest weather data showed. The capital city and its adjoining areas are set to see further deterioration in air quality index. Now, according to Weather Department, air quality could even fail to severe levels. Poor visibility because of a thick haze that engulfed around Delhi NCR due to rise of pollutants in the atmosphere. Air quality index is at 486 in Ashok Vihar, in severe category at 458 in Nehru Nagar, and at 432 in Vikas southern area. Air quality is expected to dip further over the next 1 or 2 days owing to prevailing meteorological conditions. A quick update on the COVID-19 situation across the country. India continues to achieve success in its fight against COVID-19, with the recovery rate continuing to remain at more than 92%. More than 55,000 patients have recovered from the virus in the last 24 hours, adding the total discharge cases so far crossing 77,11,000 in India. Also recording just 704 deaths in a day, India's fatality rate has plunged to less than 2%. India's caseload has also slid down, registering just 5,825 cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, cutting the total number of active cases to 5,27,962. That is the active cases of COVID-19 in India. As per the latest ICMR data, a total of 12,09,425 samples of COVID-19 were tested in the last 24 hours, adding up to total number of tests being done to 11,42,08,384. In Maharashtra, cinema halls, theatres, multiplexes and auditoriums outside the containment zones reopened from today. However, these entertainment zones will be allowed to reopen with 50% of its capacity. Also, eatables will not be allowed inside these places. The state government has also allowed a resumption of sporting activities outside the containment zones. The notification also states that swimming pools used by international and national and state level players for training will be allowed to operate from today. Yoga institutes and indoor sports like badminton, tennis, squash, shootings will also be allowed to reopen with proper sanitization measures and ensuring social distancing. And Goa is set to reopen physical classes for students of class 10th and 12th from 21st of November after 7 months of COVID-19 induced closure. Chief Minister Dr. Pramod Sawant said that the Directorate of Education would issue a standard operating procedure ahead of the resumption of classes. He further added that state has not taken a decision on restarting classes for primary school students yet. And now a quick look at the global update on COVID-19 situation. The virus has so far infected more than 4 crore 84 lakh people worldwide, while 3 crore 46 lakh people have recovered from the virus. The viral disease has claimed over 12 lakh 30,000 lives globally. It continues to ravage the most in US and Brazil. The US tops in the world with the cases surpassing 98 lakh and the number of fatalities crossing 2 lakh 39,000. Following US is Brazil in terms of death toll with over 1 lakh 61,000 lives lost due to COVID-19. Britons head towards a new 4-week-long COVID-19 lockdown amid soaring cases of the viral disease. Restaurants in London saw a heavy crowd thronging to dine as non-essential establishments will remain closed in the country for at least a month. People thronged streets hours before the lockdown came into force. Meanwhile, authorities have urged to stay at home to combat a surge in the new infections that scientists say, if unchecked, could cause more deaths than the first wave. UK has so far over 10,99,060 cases of COVID-19 with more than 47,740 deaths. Australia has signed 2 deals to buy 40 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines from Novavax and 10 million from Pfizer and BioNTech. Also, the deal worth about 1.5 billion Australian dollars was followed by earlier agreements of worth 1.7 billion Australian dollars with AstraZeneca and CSL Limited for a total of nearly 85 million vaccine doses. Meanwhile, the country has not registered any new case of COVID-19 in the last 6 days from hotspots. Australia's total number of COVID-19 cases is over 27,620 with 907 deaths so far. Italy has announced its new traffic light system to control down the upsurge in COVID-19 cases in the country. As per the new harshest restrictive measures, regions of Calabria, Lombardy, Piedmont and Valle d'Aosta will be placed under the category of red zones, keeping in view the highest number of COVID-19 cases reported from there, while rest parts of the country will be divided under orange and yellow zones depending on the caseload. The new rules will come into effect from November 6th and will last until December 3rd. Italy has over 7,90,370 cases of COVID-19, while the country has reported more than 39,760 fatalities from the disease. The US and Bangladesh navies launched Cooperation Afloat Readiness and Training, that is CARAT, Bangladesh 2020 on Wednesday. Now, this exercise aims to expand relationships and broaden maritime awareness between the two countries. The sea phase of the exercise will take place in the Bay of Bengal with ships from both the countries. The events are designed to enhance interoperability between the two navies. Historically, the CARAT exercises involve people-to-people interactions and a variety of professional exchanges. Now, these will take place online this year due to COVID-19 pandemic. In other international news, after wreaking havoc across Nicaragua, claiming at least 3 lives, Storm Eta has weakened to a tropical storm now. The storm battered homes, roads and key infrastructure with force of winds and compelled thousands of people to evacuate. Storm Eta is one of the most powerful storms to strike Central America in years. It struck Nicaragua as a Category 4 hurricane on the 5-step Saffir-Simpson scale before weakening to a tropical storm. A Rubik's Cube artist has created a 6,000-piece mosaic in under 16 hours, the largest Rubik's Cube mosaic ever made in this time. Now, the Italian artist created the special artwork to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the logical puzzle. Let's get to sports news now. Manchester United lost for the second consecutive time in all competitions as Istanbul Başakşehir pulled off a major upset in the Champions League with a 2-1 win. Demba Ba and Edin Visca scored got on the score sheet for the host in the opening stanza, while Anthony Martial reduced the deficit just before half-time whistle. The Red Devils were aiming to complete the comeback after the break, but no goals were scored in the second half. Rafael Nadal became only the 4th player to earn 1,000 open-era singles victories as he opened his title bid at Roland Paris Masters with a 4-6, 7-6, 6-4 comeback victory against Feliciano Lopez. In his first match since he captured a record-extending 13th Roland Garros title last month, Nadal served 16 aces and saved 3 of the 4 break points to make further history in the French capital. The Spaniard, who is chasing his first title, improved to 25 at the ATP Masters 1000 tournament. Nadal joins Jimmy Connors, Roger Federer and Ivan Lendl in the exclusive 1000 wins club. The 34-year-old earned his major tour-level victory at home against Ramon Delgado in Mallorca in 2002. That's it in this edition of the news this hour. But before we go, we leave you with this quick reminder of joining the Mask Up India initiative on DD India and DD News that we're running. It's a simple task, just wear a mask, but wear it properly and correctly. With that, we end this bulletin here. Namaskar.